and nearly 10 million jobs may have been lost.
Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Congress is expected to vote any minute here as Nancy Pelosi is giving one of the final speeches, and then Congress will be voting on the $1,400 stimulus check package.
Women and minority-owned businesses forced to shutter, communities of color facing rising disparities. Today, we have a real opportunity for change. Mr. Speaker, as we serve in Congress with each other, we learn about each other's districts, each other's priorities, and the rest. And we learn about each other's why. Why did you come to Congress? Why are you here? Each of us has come to Congress with a purpose. My purpose, my why, are the children. As a mother of 5, raising my kids, seeing all the attention and all that they needed, I was horrified by the fact that 1 in 5 children in America lives in poverty and goes to sleep hungry in America at night. That is my why. That is why I went from homemaker to the House of Representatives. And that is why when people ask me, what do you think the 3 most important issues are facing the Congress? I always say the same thing. Our children, our children, our children. Their health, their education, the economic security of their families, a safe, healthy environment in which they can thrive, and a nation at peace in which they can reach their fulfillment. Several of those priorities are addressed in this legislation. Again, this legislation, which has bipartisan support throughout the country. The Biden, and he praises on President Biden for the values, for the vision, the strategic thinking, for the knowledge that he has brought to what, as you said earlier, we had in the works for a while, but freshened up by current events, the vaccine and what those possibilities are. The Biden American Rescue Plan is about the children, their health, their education, the economic security of their families again. Our children's health is greatly protected by crushing the virus and by expanding access to health care through the Affordable Care Act expansions in here, Medicaid through FMAP, and in other ways as well. Our children's education is advanced with a $170 billion to open schools safely, including $130 billion for K through 12. This funding will help address the social and emotional challenges that children face, as well as learning loss, as well as opening the school safely. We know what that requires. It requires ventilation, space, more teachers, more space, to name a few things. In terms of the economic security of children's families, this legislation, as I said earlier, Mr. Neal, puts nearly $1 trillion in the pockets of the American people. The Republicans did not seem to object when they put that much money in the pockets of 83% of their tax scam into the top 1%. But they seem to have a discomfort level when it reaches the poorest of the poor or those in the middle class who are struggling. So this legislation does that. It includes the refundable tax credit, which will lift 50% of children out of poverty. How do you say no to lifting 50% of impoverished children in America out of poverty? Children also benefit from the Earned Income Tax Credit, direct payments, and enhanced unemployment insurance benefits for their families. And the economic security of children is also enhanced by pension security of their grandparents, which is historically secured in this bill. Sometimes when I have young people come to my office and ask them, it's all about the children, it's all about the future, high school students, college students, they talk about the security of their grandparents as important because to the extent that their parents can focus on them, rather than worry about the financial security of their grandparents, it's very important to the family across the board. For the children, the American Rescue Plan also includes $12 billion in nutrition assistance to help the estimated 11 million children still going hungry. When I talk about this with my family, I say to my kids, there are millions of children food insecure in our country. That's horrible. They'll say, Mom, just say it another way. They're hungry. They're hungry. Some only get their food at school. They go to sleep hungry. If you call that food insecurity, okay, but understand this. These little children are hungry. $12 billion. $43 billion in rental, homeowner, and other housing assistance so that children of families who are on the verge of eviction can have the comfort of knowing that that won't happen. They'll have the comfort of home. $45 billion of child care to keep children learning and parents earning. That is always necessary, but even more so with the 2.3 million women losing their jobs, many of them moms. Now, everything that I mentioned here is related to the coronavirus. We have hunger issues in our country, bigger than even this. We have housing issues, we have child care issues, and the rest, very important in our country, and require more than this. But this is coronavirus centric. Child care, I'll say it again, $45 billion, most of it for child care, a little bit of it for Head Start, parents, children learning, parents earning. This is important and central to how families get through this crisis, coronavirus crisis. All of these provisions in the bill are enhanced by strengthening the support for our heroes at the state and local level. Hence, our bill was called the HEROES Act. Much of that is contained in this legislation. Heroes, because our workers at the state, county, and local level, our healthcare workers, our first responders, police and fire, our sanitation, transportation, our food workers, our teachers, make our lives possible and make the existence of our children better. Because many of these jobs are jobs that are needed. Whatever we spend on education in this bill is a small percentage of what state and local government spends on education. More than 90% of it comes from the state and local. So in this legislation, we are ensuring that state and local government keep them in their jobs, these heroes that we talked about, and will help fight the fiscal pressure that they have because of the cost of addressing the coronavirus crisis, as well as revenue lost because of shutdowns and the rest. I was raised in a mayor's household as a daughter and sister of a mayor of Baltimore. The recognition of the role that local government plays is very important to me, local and state. But the local government is the first line of defense, and we are determined to fight any attempts to weaken what was in this legislation for local government. One of the values respected in this legislation is our commitment to communities of color, including Native Americans especially, who continue to face serious health and economic disparities. This legislation will, among other steps, address the 8 in 10 minority-owned businesses on the brink of closure. 8 in 10 minority-owned businesses. The American Rescue Plan, Mr. Speaker, is a force for fairness and justice in America. This legislation is one of the most transformative and historic bills any of us will ever have the opportunity to support. It's one of the most transformative that I have seen in my over 30 years in the Congress. It is as consequential as the Affordable Care Act, which expanded health care to more than 20 million people and made benefits much better for over 150 million families. Today, we have a decision to make of tremendous consequence, a decision that will make a difference for millions of Americans, saving lives and livelihoods. And with all the decisions, it is a decision that we will have to answer for. We will give the American Rescue Plan a resounding and hopefully bipartisan vote to reflect the bipartisan support that it has in the country. And we will get to work immediately to deliver life-saving resources springing from this bill as soon as it is passed and signed, as we join President Biden in the promise, in his promise, that at last help is on the way. For the people, for the children, I urge a yes vote and yield back the balance of my time.
Gentlewoman yields back. Gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
I yield back my time, Mr. Speaker.
All time for debate has expired. Pursuant to House Resolution 198, the previous question is ordered. The question is on the motion by the gentleman from Kentucky, Mr. Yarmouth. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. Gentleman from South
Sir, I
Carolina.
request recorded vote.
Pursuant to
Yeah,
Section
they're gonna make the
3S
vote
of House
happen now.
Resolution 8, the yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device.
So this is very common. What happens is they say, all right, let's all the debating is done. Let's do the yays and nays. And I always think it's funny because whoever's speaking always assumes the conclusion. So like if a Democrat is speaking, they're like, you know, you'll hear like that,
What had been
yeah, and
scheduled
then the
as
nay.
a 2-hour debate turns into over 3. The House finishing up work on the final version of the $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief package. The measure changed by the U.S. Senate on Saturday's vote and finalized here on the House floor, which means that President Biden could be signing it today, on today his 50th day in office. So final passage vote on the COVID relief bill on the House floor right now. Ahead in the House are a couple of bills on gun background checks, and they will begin debate on the first of those after this vote on the House floor. The Senate is in session today. They earlier approved the nomination of Congresswoman Marcia Fudge to be the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. That vote 66 to 43. Scott Wong of the Hill points out that
Does the gentleman from Pennsylvania seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. Lawson of Florida, pursuant to House Resolution 8, I inform the House that Mr. Lawson votes yes.
All right, so this is now okay. So what I was saying was, they always do this yay and nay call, and whoever's speaking, like if it's a Democrat or Republican, they always hear what they want to hear. So a Democrat's up, like, all right, let's hear the yeas and nays. We hear yay, nay, and usually the nays they always end up shouting because they're mad. And of course the guy listening is like, sounds like the yays have it. Okay, it's passed. And then you get somebody who stands up. No, whoa, wait a minute. Let's have a vote. Okay, we'll have a vote then. And so that's what we're seeing here. And we can clearly see this is right along party lines here. Not a surprise. So this voting should continue. This will probably take about 25 minutes. You know, they say time remaining here is this, but we'll just listen in and kind of hang out.
Baird of Indiana, pursuant to HRES 8, I inform the House that Mr. Baird will vote nay on the Senate amendment to HR 1319.
All right. They should play like elevator music in the meantime or something, you know? All right. I'm going to put a quick update out on bonds, by the way, in case you're wondering what happened with bonds. There will be a video on the channel in about 3 minutes while we watch this vote take place. Who's going to flip? How many Democrats are going to flip? You know, it's possible this could fail, right? It is possible this could fail. Oh, Roblox opened? Thank you for that. It must have just literally happened. I just checked nothing. No, I don't see it yet.
What
Oh,
purpose
you
does the
want Roblox,
gentlewoman
though.
from New Mexico seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, as a member designated by Representative Roybal Allard, pursuant to House Resolution 8, I inform the House that Ms. Roybal Allard will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319.
Cool. All right. We're about a minute away from me posting this video here. Stock market. Cool.
What's that?
All right.
For what purpose does the gentleman from New York seek recognition?
As the member designated by Chairwoman Eddie Bernice Johnson pursuant to H.Res. 8, I inform the House that Chairwoman Johnson will vote yea on H.R. 1319. The member designated by Chairwoman Zoe Lofgren pursuant to H.Res. 8, I inform the House that Chairwoman Lofgren will vote yea on H.R. 1319.
Does anybody have stimulus questions? Okay. That bond video is going to be out in 30 seconds. So if you want to just kind of get a quick rundown of my opinion of what happened and what it means going forward, that video is now public. Cool. All right. So that's out. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. No Roblox yet. Jeopardy music. I think Jeopardy music would be great for this. So this is also the final vote, right? This is it. After this, it goes to Biden. Should put that in the title. Someone's asking if you go off gross or net income. Usually for the stimulus check, it's AGI. So adjusted gross income is what you're looking for.
Ms. Johnson of Texas. Ms. Johnson of Texas votes aye by proxy. Ms. Lofgren.
Slow vote today. I'll be right back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Virginia seek recognition?
50th.
Mr. Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. Liu pursuant to H.R.S. 8, I inform the House that Mr. Liu will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319.
As a member designated by Mr. Lowenthal pursuant to H.R. 8, I inform the House Mr. Lowenthal will vote yes on the motion to concur in the amendment to H.R. 1319. As a member designated by Ms. Barragan pursuant to H.R. 8, I inform the House that Ms. Barragan will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319. As a member designated by Ms. Moore pursuant to H.R. 8, I inform the House that Ms. Moore will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319. And as the member designated by Mr. Cohen pursuant to H.R. 8, I inform the House that Mr. Cohen will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Kansas seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Cleaver pursuant to H.R.S. 8, I inform the House that Mr. Cleaver will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319. As the member designated by Mr. Allred pursuant to H.R.S. 8, I inform the House that Mr. Allred will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319. As the member designated by Mr. DeFazio pursuant to H.R.S. 8, I inform the House that Mr. DeFazio will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319.
Mr. Lowenthal votes aye by proxy. Mr. Litter votes aye by proxy. Mr. Cohen votes aye by proxy. Ms. Moore, Wisconsin votes aye by proxy. Ms. Barragan votes aye by proxy. Mr. Cleaver votes aye by proxy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for what purpose does the gentleman seek recognition? Gentleman from Arizona?
Mr. Speaker, as the member designated by Ms. Kirkpatrick, pursuant to H.R.S. 8, I inform the House that Ms. Kirkpatrick will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319.
aye by proxy.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from New Hampshire seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, as the member designated by Ms. Pingree pursuant to HRES 8, I inform the House that Ms. Pingree will vote yea on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to HR 1319.
For what purpose does the gentleman from California seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Ruiz pursuant to House Resolution 8, I inform the House that Mr. Ruiz will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to HR 1319.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Indiana seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. McHenry of North Carolina pursuant to House Resolution 8, I inform the House that Mr. McHenry will vote no on the Senate amendment to HR 1319.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Virginia seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. McEachin pursuant to HRES 8, I inform the House that Mr. McEachin will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to HR 1319. And as the member designated by Ms. Porter pursuant to HRES 8, I inform the House that Ms. Porter will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to HR 1319.
While the voting's going on, worth noting that Roblox just went public. It went public for around $65, and it's up to about $73 right now.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from New York seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Moulton of Massachusetts pursuant to H-Res 8, I inform the House that Mr. Moulton will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319.
For what purpose does the gentleman from North Carolina seek recognition?
As the member designated by Mr. Thompson of Mississippi, pursuant to H-Res 8, I inform the House that Mr. Thompson will vote yes. He will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319.
For what purpose does the gentleman from South Carolina seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, as a member designated by Mr. Brian Babin from Texas pursuant to HRS 8, I inform the House that Mr. Babin will vote nay on the Senate amendment to HR 1319.
The House on final passage of the $1.9 trillion COVID relief package. Expected to finish work here this afternoon. President Biden could sign that as soon as today. One Democrat voting no on this, Emily Cochran of the New York Times, tweeting that it's Jared Golden, Democrat of Maine. Again, a no on the stimulus. He was one of two Democrats who voted against the initial House bill.
I wish I just always had a voice that would come over and fill in some extra detail. That's fun. I'll be back.
And should this bill pass this afternoon, word from the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki saying that the president will sign the bill on Friday. He's then expected to physically travel around the United States to detail the plan to Americans. Final passage vote here, and the House will move on to debate a couple of gun background check bills.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Massachusetts seek recognition?
As the member designated by Ms. Mang pursuant to H-Res 8, I inform the House that
I do wonder what the wait is till Friday. I mean, maybe they gotta prepare it or something, but I don't know. Friday? How about today?
For what purpose does the gentleman from New York seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, as the member designated by Representative Morelli of New York, pursuant to H-Res 8, I inform the House that Representative Morelli will indeed vote aye on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319. Thank you.
For what purpose does the gentleman from California seek recognition?
As the member designated by Mr. Cardenas pursuant to H-Res 8, I inform the House that Mr. Cardenas will vote aye on the motion to concur the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Florida seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Hastings of Florida pursuant to H-Res 8, I inform the House that Mr. Hastings will vote yea on the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319. And Mr. Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Payne of New Jersey pursuant to H-Res 8, I inform the House that Mr. Payne will also vote yea on the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Illinois seek recognition?
As the member designated by Mr. Rush, pursuant to H.Res. 8, I inform the House that Mr. Rush will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319.
For what purpose does the gentleman from California seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker,
As member designated by Congressmember Napolitano, pursuant to House Resolution 8, I inform the House that Congressmember Napolitano will vote yes on the Senate amendments to H.R. 1319.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Washington seek recognition?
As the member designated by Ms. Strickland pursuant to HRS 8, I inform the House that Ms. Strickland will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment.
Hi. Yeah. I may have, I don't know why, but for some reason, I may have lost my connection here, which is unfortunate because I really want to stream this. So, yeah. I guess we can kind of just do it live. So we'll just do it together like this while the computer comes back. Just kind of odd, but you know what? We'll go with it. Let's see here. I'm sure there's a way. Oh, wait, no. I'm sure there's a way I could flip the camera, right?
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Ohio seek recognition?
Sure. I'm going to get this back up. Give me a minute.
Speaker, as the member designated by Ms. Fudge pursuant to House Res 8, I inform the House that Ms. Fudge will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319. Thank you.
There we go. See? It's working. I'll be back in a moment with the proper stream. So I'll just kind of stand here in the meantime. Well,
For what state? For what purpose does the gentleman seek recognition?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As a member designated by Mr. Stubbe of Florida pursuant to HRS 8, I inform the House that Mr. Stubbe will vote no on the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319.
okay. We should be back on the computer in just a moment. Sorry. Obviously, some technical difficulties. We're getting close. It's kind of exciting. This means the whole stimulus process will finally be done in this sense. Okay, we are coming back. Okay, let's get our full broadcast back up. Oh, or not. Well, this is very inconvenient, but we'll get to see it together here. Wow, it's like somebody keeps turning off the power at my house. Hold on a second. This is really annoying. Give me 1 second while Congress votes. Hey, Lauren, is somebody here in the back? Would you mind checking if somebody's turning off the power? Thanks. Nobody should be here. Yeah, so this is kind of annoying. So we've got backup batteries, but they're still kicking off the power for some reason. So I'll try again. So far, one no vote. Same no vote we had last time, so no surprise here. Trying to get back to normal stream mode here. Again, kind of inconvenient. Pay my power bill. Pay a big power bill.
For what purpose does the gentleman from New Jersey seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, as the member designated by Ms. Bonnie Watson Coleman pursuant to HRS 8, I inform the House that Ms. Watson Coleman will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R.
1319.
All right, coming back. Okay, should be able to get us back up. All right, we're coming back. They're still voting, so it's kind of not, we're not really missing much. Well, we're not missing anything given that I'm kind of like hand holding this. But we should be back to proper set here in just a moment. Okay, I think we're able to go back. Here we go. There we go. Okay. Good to be back. Yeah, so apparently, hold on, now it's echoing. Hold on. All right. So apparently what happened as to why I lost power there was we have a whole house battery pack, but apparently one circuit is not on that. And that was the circuit, of course, that is connected to the server and the modem. So all the cameras and everything is backed up. So I got to fix that.
Purpose does the gentlewoman from New York seek recognition?
As a member designated by Ms. Bush of Missouri pursuant to House Resolution 8, I inform the House that Ms. Bush will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319.
The one Democrat voting against the bill, according to our Capitol Hill producer Craig Kaplan, is Jared Golden of Maine, who voted against the original House version of the package. He's also a no today. Emily Cochran of the New York Times says, however, that Kurt Schrader of Oregon, the other Democrat to vote against the House bill originally, is voting in favor of the measure today. Again, some changes made by the Senate when they passed it earlier this week, actually on Saturday of last weekend. Speaking of the Senate, they approved the nomination of Marcia Fudge to be HUD Secretary, Housing and Urban Development. The vote 66 to 34 in the Senate means she will resign from the U.S. House and could be sworn in very soon by the president.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Connecticut seek recognition?
As the member designated by Ms. Wilson pursuant to H.Res. 8, I inform the House that Ms. Wilson will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 1319.
AKA passing the stimulus bill. Pretty much there. 22 votes left. That's nothing.
The gentleman from Illinois seek recognition.
Speaker, as the member designated by Mr. Grijalva pursuant to H.Res. 8, I hereby inform the House that Mr. Grijalva will vote yes on the motion to concur in the Senate Amendment H.R. 1319.
Right. Pretty much there. Yeah. Cool. So I'll do a summary in a moment. Let's put up. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I mean, we have enough votes now that notifications are going out. Now it's just formality. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing. It's at 56,800 per coin. There you go. Bitcoin next to stimulus. How appropriate. I want to see the gavel. See the gavel. We'll do a little summary. Gavel's always a fun part. I wonder if Nancy Pelosi will come up and do it. No, she's up there. Yeah, she is. So it's going to be Nancy Pelosi, gavel in the sin. Roblox at about 71 bucks. Nice strong open. AT&T is over 30 bucks. Tesla's a little red. All right, come on, 3 more people. Let's go. I gotta get my breakfast. Some chicken tenders. Here we go. Change votes?
On this vote, the yeas are 220, the nays are 211. The motion is adopted. Objection, a motion. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
There it is. The third stimulus check package has officially passed both chambers of Congress. Congress is now done with the stimulus package. The bill goes over to Joe Biden. Joe Biden is now planning on signing this bill on Friday. He's planning on signing this bill on Friday. Joe Biden is planning on having a primetime event tomorrow evening, which is Thursday evening, March 11th, to mark the anniversary of the pandemic. And then we'll be signing the stimulus check package on Friday. I'm not exactly sure what the delay is between now and Friday. Like, I kind of feel like, hey, Joe, why don't you just walk into the House and sign it right now? The cameras are on. Just walk in there and sign. I don't know. Maybe they want to do a whole ceremony. Who knows? The government's really good at wasting our time. Obviously, we know, but it's worth just adding a little bit of extra clarity, because why not provide the details? The bill is including $410 billion for $1,400 stimulus checks going to both adults and dependents, which means college students who are dependents as well, unless they're filing separately. Anybody claiming them, like if you're a dependent college student, will receive this if you are filing with your parents. If you make less than $75,000 a year as an individual, but not more than $80,000 a year, you get the full $1,400. Under $75,000, and obviously phases out to $80K. If you make less than $112,500, you get the full $1,400 as a head of household, as long as you do not make more than $120,000. You'll have that phase out period there. And if you make less than $150,000 as a joint filer, you will get the full $1,400 check, and then the phase out will be between $150,000 and $160,000 for joint filers. The $1,400 check could go out as soon as next week. Joe Biden is expecting to sign this Friday, so maybe that means it'll be a little bit later next week, because Joe Biden does say his priority is getting this bill out as soon as possible, getting this signed as soon as possible, getting these checks out as soon as possible, and he will not delay to have his name put on the check. He doesn't care whose name is on it. He wants to see the checks go out. This is something that Jen Psaki has stated today. Child tax credits in the amount of $250 per month per child under 18 and $300 per month for children under 6 will be in effect for the 2021 tax year. This tax credit may start getting distributed monthly starting July 1st. We do expect some sort of portal to be open to allow people to opt out of this or make children for make changes for newly born children or children who have outgrown the credit. You want to make sure that's accurate. Otherwise, you're going to owe that money back on taxes. That's different from the stimulus checks, where if you accidentally get overpaid on the stimulus checks, you get to keep it. But if you get overpaid on the child tax credit, you won't get to keep it. The bill also provides $4,000 to $8,000 tax credits for dependent care expenses. So that could be adult dependents as well. Tax credits will be for 50% of expenses between $8,000 and $16,000. So that basically means if, let's say, you spent, I believe it's $4,000 for one child and up to $8,000 for two children. So let's say you spend $8,000 and you've got one child, you could get 50% or $4,000 in tax credits. Let's say you have two dependents, doesn't have to be children, and you spend up to $16,000 in dependent care expenses, you can get up to an $8,000 tax credit. And that benefit extends to families making up to $400,000 a year. The child tax credit and the stimulus checks have a similar phase outs around that 75-150 mark. Around 7% of the bill will go to vaccines and vaccine funding for COVID treatment. Unemployment is getting extended by $300 per week through September 6th, with a tax break of up to $10,200 in tax-free unemployment funding for those who received unemployment funding in 2020. The IRS is expected to roll out guidance for this within the next 2 to 3 weeks in terms of how to claim your refund if you've already filed your 2020 tax return. It is not clear yet that you would have to or would not have to file a tax return amendment. So I would stand by and wait for guidance on that so you don't go through unnecessary work there. Bill also provides the additional $7 billion in PPP funding. We also heard that PPP's application periods for the PPP will be extended another 3 months, which, remember, if you are a gig worker, you are eligible. If you have a negative net income, you can now use your gross income, as long as your gross income it'll get rounded down to $100,000 if you're making more than $100,000. So great opportunity to use the PPP if you haven't yet. The fact that they're extending this means there's still time. There's still money in the pot to take. It's essentially free money. And you could YouTube search Meet Kevin PPP loans on that for some more guidance on the changes. No student loan forgiveness in this bill. However, forgiveness of a student loan debt, if it happens in the future, will be tax-free between now and 2025. That is something that Congress did sneak in this bill, is that student loan forgiveness will not be taxed. It will not be a taxable event. So even though there is no forgiveness now, we kind of have the groundwork laid. There is no $200 Social Security boost, despite this being something that Joe Biden had talked about regularly on the campaign trail. No $200 boost. It was also in his plan. Maybe it'll come back in the infrastructure plan, which is the next package that will be a top priority for Congress. There is also no minimum wage change in this package, as well as no funding for Nancy Pelosi's transit system or Chuck Schumer's bridge. Well, folks, there you have it. We have our third stimulus package passed. Congratulations. Hopefully you get this funding as soon as possible. We did just see Bitcoin spike, by the way. It's worth putting that up on screen here. Upon the passage of this bill, we did just see Bitcoin jump about $400 per coin. Very interesting to kind of see that almost immediacy of Bitcoin reacting. The stock market itself is pretty flat right now in reaction to this, although we did see Tesla go positive in the last few minutes. So Tesla, at least, of the stocks reacting to this, is reacting. Let's see, there we go. So you can actually see Tesla had a nice little bounce here upon the passage of the bill. Looks like NEO also had some green candlesticks on the passage. Obviously, we imagine that consumer stocks will do well in an event like this. It's certainly interesting that the Voyager CEO, when I interviewed him on the channel, mentioned that when the last stimulus passed, there were a whole lot of exact stimulus checks going directly into Bitcoin accounts over at Voyager. Which, hey, folks, thank you so very much for watching. Congratulations again. And, folks, that might be it for a time being in terms of stimulus, unless we have other updates in the meantime. The package is passed. Now it's just a matter of waiting for Biden to sign and maybe getting some more details. Thank you so very much for watching. It's been a journey. And, folks, we'll see you in the next video.